junk. What does that say about me? How can I show you that my love for you has no boundaries? I know. Reach in your back pocket.
What?
Reach in your back pocket.
Why?
Are you arguing with me? Reach in your back pocket.
God.
Yes?
I was just saying, God, I'll do that right now.
You were just saying my name in vain.
You know what? It's a name, it's a saying.
It's more than a name, it's more than a saying, it's more than a bad habit. It's a name above all names. I want to teach you something about my name. Reach in your back pocket. You know what that is?
This is a page from a journal I had when I was younger. How'd you get this?
Hello?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, read it.
I love Angie Holland.
Other side.
Sorry. I married her.
I was there.
Oh, yeah. Dear God, today I am turning everything over to you. I'm not going to hold on to anything anymore. Your word says that you will make me your masterpiece and use me to do great things. I don't see how that's possible, but I want that with all that I am. So please do whatever it takes to make me what you want. I love you, God.
I love you too, Tommy. And I love you too much just to leave you where you're at. So this salvation that you hold, don't let it be some sentimental gush or some head knowledge. I want you to work it out in every detail of your life. And don't compare yourself to someone else, because that is just trivial nonsense. You are my original masterpiece. You are one of my workmanship, and you I find favor. Don't look at this as a prison, but look at this as a father disciplines his child. A father disciplines the ones he loves.
I know, but it's going to be tough.
Yes, it'll be tough. But you bought into the lie thinking everything was going to be easy when you said yes to me. It's not how it works. I want you to do something. I want you to look up there and I want you to say, Tommy is God's original masterpiece.
Tommy.
No. The way you see yourself, or you yearn so much for others to see you. But the way I see you.
Tommy is God's original masterpiece.
Yes, you are.
So are you. God doesn't make junk. You are an original masterpiece.
Each one of us is carrying anger and baggage along, and God comes along and tries to mold us. Joseph knew that all the things that he went through were just God developing his character. It was like God's chisel on his life. And he grew and he knew, and he said to his brothers, it wasn't you that did it. It was God molding me. The application here is that we should not have a victim attitude. I'm never a victim. See, when stuff happens to us, don't have that victim attitude, but have the attitude that God is working on me. Isaiah 64:8 says, we are the clay and you are the potter. We are formed by the hand of God. I'm never a victim. So that's what he knew. What he did, he blessed those who cursed him. Genesis 45:9-13 says, now hurry back to my father and tell him, this is what your son Joseph says. God has made me master over all the land of Egypt. So come down to me immediately so you can live in the region of Goshen, where you can be near me with all your children and grandchildren. You see, Joseph blessed his father. He blessed his brothers when they had made plans to kill him. So he blessed those who cursed him. So he knew that God was sovereign, and then what he did was he blessed those who cursed him. The application is that we should do good to those who hurt us in a safe and appropriate way. There may be some situations in this room, it may not be safe or appropriate for you to go back and do something good to someone who's hurt you. Maybe it's in a marriage, an abusive relationship. So when you hear this, I'm saying you apply this in a safe and appropriate way. Don't put yourself in danger. And then there was something that Joseph refused to do. He refused to take revenge. Revenge is so sweet, isn't it? I mean, I love the story of Esther, the book of Esther, when in the end, Haman gets hung on the gallows. It's such sweet revenge. Remember, Haman was going to hang Mordecai, but it got turned around. I mean, it's just such a great story. Revenge, it just feels so good, but it doesn't belong to us. It belongs to God. David and Saul in 1 Samuel chapter 24, David went into a cave, or Saul went into a cave to relieve himself, and David snuck in, and he thought about hurting Saul, but he didn't. But he got close enough to take a piece of Saul's robe. He cut it off, and then came out of the cave and told Saul, hey, I could have taken your life, but you are God's anointed. David realized, and he wanted to. We all know David was human, right? You know that. And he wanted to take revenge, but he didn't. And he realized that Saul was God's anointed. Well, the application is that I should choose to forgive, release those who hurt me from the retribution they deserve, because Christ has done that for me. I mean, we deserve death. The wages of sin is death. And that could be God's revenge on us. But instead of revenge, he sent his son. So how do you overcome evil that's aimed at you? You choose to forgive the person or persons that hurt you. See, you forgive. Forgiving is a choice. I mean, to forgive is a choice, forgiving is a process, and then to be forgiven is the resolution. I don't know how many of you saw or heard about a baseball game this summer. There was this pitcher named Armando Galarraga. He pitched a perfect game, 27 outs, and everybody was out, except the very last play of the game. A ground ball's hit to the shortstop. And you can see it right there in one of those pictures. The first baseman has the ball in his mitt, his foot's on the bag, and the umpire, Jim Joyce, calls him safe. He was obviously out. It was obvious in the reviews that he was out, but Jim Joyce called him safe. Now, the second picture on the top is Armando. I don't know can you see he's kind of smiling right there? That's right after the play. The play gets called. Armando says, I went over and I started to celebrate because he had just pitched a perfect game. There's only been 20 of these in the history of baseball, and he just did it. And he starts to celebrate, and then he saw Jim call the guy safe. And there went his perfect game. And he said, I was either going to hit him or smile, and I decided to smile. And that's Armando walking away from his beginning of his celebration. Well, right after the game, Jim Joyce asked Armando to come into the umpire's locker room, and Jim asked Armando to forgive him. He said, I made a bad call. I was wrong. Now, Armando, man, he had every right to be angry. I mean, 20 games in the history of baseball, and this guy threw. By the way, can anyone remember any other people who threw perfect games? I don't know who they are, but I know this one because it's a picture